Hi parents, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. Apologies for the delay first of all. We'll start the event shortly. So please excuse us. Thank you parents for your patience and cooperation. We shall start the event now. Good afternoon once again to all the parents and students sitting here and also who are present with us online today. We at WSS welcome you for the IGCSE options event. The purpose of this meeting is to make you and your child ready for the future, as our Year 9 students will soon expand their academic knowledge and step into Key Stage 4. The transition from KS3 to KS4 is an important, challenging, yet exciting time, as for the first time in your education, you can choose where and what to study. But before we go into further details, I request all of you to stand for the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Now let us listen to beautiful verses of Holy Quran recited by Afifa Rauf of Year 9 GD.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. All praises for Allah, Lord of all worlds, the most compassionate, most merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us along the straight path, the path of those who have blessed, not those who are displeased with or those who are astray.
Thank you, Afifa. Now I would like to request our principal, Ms. Valerie Thompson, to commence the program by the welcome speech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, mums and dads. How do you feel? Your baby's starting to grow up. Yeah, it's quite a shock to the system. We go through life and we have decisions we have to make that become more and more important as you get older. And I think this is one of the earliest decisions that is really important and will help shape your future. So when mum wants to sit and talk to you about your subjects, or when the teachers want to talk to you, when you're given advice, when daddy wants to share his wisdom with you, this is a time to start listening, not to get bored and glaze over. All right? This is time to really focus and reflect inwards. What is it you want for your future? Because the decisions now are going to have an impact on the choices you have. And I think education, the most important thing is that it gives you choice. It gives you options. And now is the time to start focusing on what you want those options to be. All right, so wish you all the best. Now is the time to ask questions, get as much information as you can, and reflect inwards on what it is you want with the rest of your life, okay? And I know I say rest of your life, don't panic, nothing is final, you can change and adapt later, but at least have an idea of the pathway you want to go on. All right, all the best, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Valerie. Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. And on this note, let us look at the requirements by Ministry of Education to graduate in 2024-25 and beyond. And I would request the Secondary Assistant Principal, Mr. Alfred Franklin, to talk about the MOE requirements.
Good evening. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I know it's a very busy day for many of you. Thanks for taking your time. The one which I'm going to speak a bit about is a very important one. As we go forward, you will quite often hear the words, start planning backwards. So where do you want to go as in the future, which university or what kind of course you want to continue? And you are going to start planning backwards, and this is one thing. that wherever you go in the UAE for your higher studies, or if you are going to move abroad, there is one particular certificate they will ask called equalization of your qualification. So for that, Ministry of Education has got set parameters for the students who finish IGCSE to get their certificate equalized by the Ministry of Education. The students must have finished at least 5 IGCSE subjects, which doesn't include Arabic and Islamic studies. Apart from that, 5 IGCSE subjects with the grades ranging from A star to E. If you have 5 IGCSE subjects with the grades ranging from A star to E, then the certificate would be equalized. And also the requirement of grade 12 or year 13 education in schools is the second criteria they look at. It is very important to see for them that you have studied in school for 12 academic years. So that is another thing they are looking at. And when the children finish their key stage 4, which is going to come in future for your children, when they move into their key stage 5, what we call in here as year 12 and 13, or we call it as AS and A level, they look at either finishing 2 AS level subjects with a passing grade of A star to D, or 1 A level subject with the passing grade of A star to D. Once they have this, when they go out of school after 12 years or year 13 in a British system, the Ministry of Education equalizes their certificate and says that, okay, this is valid. Now you have got your school education to the full. So that is what is the requirement of it. And this for the academic year, the students who are going to start academic year next. So that will come with them for the next 2 years. In case if the ministry is repealing any of their decrees or their requirements, we immediately inform the parents the requirement is now this, or it has been changed, or it is the same. We do keep informing if there is any change in there. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Franklin. That was informative. Now I would request the Secondary Assistant Principal, Ms. Shrija Nair, to take us through the subjects offered at WSS and help our parents and students in their selection paths.
Good evening, parents, everybody who is present here. Thank you for the time today, and thank you for all those who've joined us online. We're just going to go through, after this slide, the subject options that's available at WSS for the students to choose, and that would be one of the most important decisions that you're going to take over a few days that will help the school plan multiple things. We'll come to that later. So, IGCSE is like studied across the world over many countries. Like, you know, Ministry of Education mandates that the children take 5 IGCSE subjects for equivalency. Now we really need to understand very clearly the difference between equivalency, as in which is the SPIA, Sharjah Private Education Authority's rules, and what WSS rules are, and apart from that, what Cambridge rules are, and then the individual freedom that you have amongst all these. At WSS, we expect students to choose a minimum of 6 subjects amongst the offered subject. Ministry subjects as in Arabic, Islamic, and Social Studies is not considered as one amongst these 6 subjects. They are mandatory for everybody. The next point is that the group sizes of the students, for example, from the optional subjects that you choose, if number of students who have not chosen the subject, the number doesn't come up to 20, we may not be able to run that subject. So obviously after the option documents are submitted back to us, we do the planning for resources, textbooks, teachers, timetabling, everything based on that. So it's very important that we get the data as accurately as possible from all of you. And this is mentioned in the document which is shared, which will be shared with you as a shared with you later. So if the option sizes or the number of students are less than 20 in one option, we may not be able to run that subject in the school. The students who are choosing computer science in Block D are expected to qualify a baseline assessment. We know we are teaching computer studies, but computer studies requires specific computational skills, which we test once. So if you are opting for computer science, in the document which is given to you, the team will be sending you an email with an assessment date wherein the child will have to sit for a test for the computational skills and mathematical skills. And if the child scores 70% or above, the child is offered computer studies, or the child is welcome to take ICT, that's Information, Communication and Technology, or any other subject which is available in the option. So there's an examination or something called a pre-entrance test for opting for computer studies. Entry into external examinations, which is the Cambridge examinations or Pearson's examinations, is charged, and that is the charge given by the Cambridge board, which is published on the website of the board, which will be communicated to you closer to the examination, that is in year 11, in the month, say somewhere in the month of December, January, before the child enters the first mock examination, when you'll have to make the entire payment for the examination. We expect the students to understand what the subjects are and choose it, and we generally do not permit subject changes as much as possible unless there is a dire need to do so, which is done in consultation with the guidance counselor as a university requirement, or if it is done for any specific requirement that the parent can convince us. We would want the student to choose the subject as carefully as possible and continue with that subject, because teachers will not find time to go back and teach the subject from the start if the child chooses to switch over in the middle of the term. IGCSE is also called fifth form. AS, A-level, is referred to as sixth form. That's just another name. It's got nothing major than that. And once the children finish IGCSE, they are eligible to go into their advanced level, which is year 12 and 13 in our school, which is also called AS, Advanced Subsidiary, and Advanced Level A-levels. So that will commence in year 12 and year 13. Let me put a point at this juncture that admissions into AS and A-level is not automatic. As in, when a child is promoted from year 1 to year 2 to year 3, that goes only till year 11. From year 12 upwards, it is dependent upon how the child does in the IGCSE examination. There's a bespoke application that the child has to submit, and school decides whether the child is eligible to enter into sixth form and study for the advanced level. More of that would be shared with you in the IG advanced level options evening, which will be similar to something like this, but that will be held when you are in year 11. But yes, it is not an automatic entry. If there are parents here who have children in year 11 would know that the re-enrollment is not done after year 11. It is a fresh application, as you will do for any other university or college. So these are this document will be shared to you by the form tutors tonight. And these are the subject options available. This is the first block, and as you can see, in this block, all the subjects are compulsory. Children have to study Islamic, if they follow Islam, Arabic, UAE social studies, and mathematics. All of them are mandatory subjects. Block B, is English, and English, the parents do have the opportunity, and the students do have the opportunity to choose from first language and second language. But I would like to say here that the English team sends you a recommendation based on what we feel would suit the student most. However, it is a recommendation by the school based on the child's aptitude. You are free to choose the language what you need. But if the children take English as first language and are consistently not performing in that, they must might be another recommendation by, let's say, by the end of year 10, for the child to move on to English as second language, which might get the student better grades. But these decisions would be based on individual discussions with you, whether it is suitable to you, suitable to school, suitable to students' university requirement, and then made. These are the next steps as we go in. I'm just making a statement here just to keep you aware of it. Option block C, you have to choose 3 subjects here. So please keep in mind the or. When I'm saying or, the child can choose physics or business study, not both. Because that's how the timetable runs. So when the child is studying, physics is being offered to a set of students, at the same time business studies is being offered to other set of students. So the option is to choose between physics or business studies, chemistry or economics, biology or accounting. I mean, the child can take physics and economics. There is no limitation that way. But you can't choose between the subjects where there is an or, because that's how the timetable is created. And this is an optional subject, and you have to choose one of them, any one of them. So it's information, communication technology, computer science, as I said, even if you choose, you would be appearing for an assessment. And the child has to score 70% and above to be eligible to learn computer studies. You would have to choose at least 3 subjects here based on the preference. Just put 1, 2, 3, so that if a particular subject is full, for example, some of the subjects get full soon, and if the number of that subject is full, we might offer the child the second option that the child has chosen. Or if the child chooses computer studies and does not qualify for it, we know which is the other subject the child would want to study. So there's sociology, geography, psychology, food and nutrition, Arabic as first language, and art and design. You have to choose 3 of them according to the preference that the child would want. The first preference, but we will get only 1 here. Only 1 would be offered of all of them. We want it in your order of preference, though. So if there are any queries regarding these options, we'll come back and take the questions in the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Shrija, for that intricate, detailed information. Now let's call upon our extremely articulated student, Manal and Mridini, to talk about the subjects in details. They will be focusing on the content of subjects and the assessment overview for each subject. Please note that for more information on the subjects, parents can visit the CIE website to access the information again if required.
Good afternoon, everyone. The first course name is First Language English, subject code 0500. All candidates must appear for 2 papers, paper 1, reading, and paper 2, writing. Each paper has a duration of 2 hours, an equal weightage of 50%, and carries 80 marks each. English as a second language, subject code 0511. All candidates are to appear for all 3 components, paper 1 reading and paper 2 writing. All candidates are to appear for all 3 components, paper 1 reading and writing, paper 2 listening, and paper 3 speaking. Paper 1 has a duration of 2 hours, a weightage of 50%, and is worth 60 marks. Paper 2 has a duration of approximately 50 minutes, while paper 3 is allotted 10 to 15 minutes. Both papers have a weightage of 25% and carries 40 marks each.
Mathematics, subject code 0580. All candidates take 2 components, paper 2 and paper 4. Paper 2 is the non-calculator paper, and paper 4 is the calculator paper. The duration of both papers are 2 hours.
Both papers carry 100 marks each, and both papers have 50% weightage. Physics, subject code 0625. Students learn about the basic principles of physics through a mix of theoretical and practical studies. Chemistry, subject code 0620. Students learn about basic principles of chemistry through a mix of theoretical and practical studies. Biology, subject code 0610. Students learn about the basic principles of biology through a mix of theoretical and practical studies. All candidates must appear for 3 papers for each of the science subjects: Paper 2, Paper 4, and Paper 6. Paper 2 is a multiple choice question paper. Duration of the paper is 45 minutes and has 30% weightage of the total available marks. Paper 4 is a theory paper, and duration of the paper is 1 hour 15 minutes, and this paper has 50% weightage of the total available marks. Paper 6 is an alternative to practical paper. Duration of the paper is 1 hour, and this paper has 20% weightage of the total available marks.
Business Studies, subject code 0450. All candidates will answer 2 papers. Paper 1, short answers and data response. Paper 2, case study. Both papers have a duration of 1 hour and 30 minutes, and equal weightage of 50% and 80 marks each. Economics, subject code 0455. All candidates will be writing 2 papers. Paper 1, multiple choice questions. Paper 2, structured questions. Paper 1 is allotted a duration of 45 minutes. It carries a weightage of 30% and is worth 30 marks. Paper 2 has a duration of 2 hours and 15 minutes. It carries a weightage of 70% and has 90 marks. Accounting, subject code 0452. All candidates appear for 2 compulsory papers. Paper 1, multiple choice, and Paper 2, structured questions. Paper 1 is 1 hour and 15 minutes. It carries a weightage of 30% and has 35 marks. Paper 2 is 1 hour and 45 minutes. It has a weightage of 70% and has 100 marks.
Art and Design, subject code 0400. Students learn and apply a range of skills to produce art and design work. All candidates are graded in 2 ways, Component 1 and Component 2. Both components carry 100 marks each, and both components have a weightage of 50% each. Component 1 is coursework, and Component 2 is an externally set assignment. Computer Science, subject code 0478. All candidates take 2 papers, Paper 1 and Paper 2. Duration of both papers is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Both papers carry 75 marks each. Paper 1 is based on computer systems, and Paper 2 is based on algorithms, programming, and logic.
Information and Communication Technology, ICT, subject code 0517. All candidates are expected to answer all 3 components. Paper 1, theory. Paper 2, documents production, database and presentations. And component 3, spreadsheets and website authoring. Paper 1 has a duration of 1.5 hours. It carries a weightage of 40% and is worth 80 marks. Paper 2 and Component 3 are each 2 hours and 15 minutes long. They carry a percentage of 30% and are 70 marks each. Food and Nutrition, subject code 0648. Food and nutrition permits students to gain knowledge and develop practical skills in a way that keeps in mind factors such as personal or family needs, lifestyles, and how diet is directly linked to health. Candidates appear for 2 compulsory components, Paper 1 theory and Paper 2 practical. Paper 1 allows for a time period of 2 hours, For paper 2, candidates first have a planning session of 1.5 hours a week before the practicals that have the time duration of 2.5 hours. Both papers have an equal percentage of 50 and has 100 marks each.
Sociology, subject code 0495. Candidates appear for 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 carries 80 marks and the duration of the paper is 2 hours, including 15 minutes reading time. Paper 1 carries 54% weightage. Paper 2 carries 70 marks and the duration of the paper is 1 hour 45 minutes, including 15 minutes of reading time. Paper 2 carries 46% weightage. GCSE Psychology, subject code 1PS0. Candidates appear for 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 carries 98 marks and has 55% weightage. Duration of the paper is 1 hour and 45 minutes. Paper 2 carries 79 marks and has 45% weightage, and duration of the paper is 1 hour, 20 minutes.
Geography, subject code 0460. One of the aims of this syllabus is to enable students to develop an understanding of location on a local, regional, and global scale. All candidates appear for 3 papers. Paper 1, Geographical Themes. Paper 2, Geographical Skills, and finally Paper 4, Alternative to Coursework. Paper 1 has a time period of 1 hour and 45 minutes, a weightage of 45% and 75 marks. Paper 2 and 4 each have a duration of 1.5 hours, an equal weightage of 27.5% and 60 marks each. اللغة العربية الأولى الرمز للمادة هو 3180. جميع الطلاب عليهم أن يحضروا ورقتين، الورقة الأولى والورقة الثانية. كل الورقتين لديهما نفس مدى الوقت وهي الساعة والنصف. الورقة الأولى الأولى تنتج 45% من الدرجة النهائية، وعلى الورقة الأولى 45 درجة. والورقة الثانية تنتج 55% من الدرجة النهائية، وعلى الورقة الثانية 55 درجة. ثانية، اللغة العربية الأولى رمز المادة 0508. جميع الطلاب عليهم أن يحضروا ورقتين، الورقة الأولى والورقة الثانية. كل الورقتين لديها نفس مدى الوقت وهي ساعتين، ولدي كل ورقة 50% من الدرجة النهائية، وعلى كل ورقة 50 درجة. Thank you.
Thank you, Manal. Thank you, Mridini. As Mr. Franklin said in the start of the meeting, that it is important for us to start planning backwards. And to talk more about planning and helping you in taking decisions, I would like to call our school guidance counselor, Ms. Anisha, to talk about backward planning.
Good evening, parents and students. Thank you for joining us today. Like we've been discussing from the beginning of this event, planning your future is extremely essential, and that starts now, especially when you have the choice to opt the subjects, right? So for that, backward planning is essential. So basically what we're trying to say here is, you have an ultimate goal, right? Like for instance, any career or any field to work in that is of your interest. So when you have that in mind, so we start planning backwards as to what is required at this point to achieve later in life to that end goal. So basically you have a long-term goal that is listed, and you have short-term goals that will help you achieve the long-term goal, right? So we've broken it down here. The first part is identifying your goal. So anytime you set your goal, it has to be SMART goals. So SMART goals are basically specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. So a very simple example at this stage would be managing your daily schedule. So when you prepare a timetable for yourself, it has to be in such a way that you are comfortable following that. So, for example, when you plan to study a particular chapter or subject for a day, you know your strengths. So you identify your strengths, you know what your weaknesses are or the areas you need to work more on. So once you identify that, you plan your day or your schedule accordingly and take it step by step. So that's a very basic example I can give at this point, right? And then we move on to identifying the different steps and sequences needed for that. For instance, when you understand that there are areas that require more effort from your end, you have to plan your day in such a way that you're able to achieve your end goal for that. For instance, if math is my strength, and I know that certain subjects, for example, chemistry, would require more time for me to work on, then I will plan chemistry in such a way that I can give more time for that. Maybe if I'm a morning person, I can have a fresh start and I can understand the concepts better, right? You take adequate breaks. A very common thing that we hear is, I study for so many hours altogether, yet I don't achieve the results that I expect. It is not always about the number of hours that you are studying in, it is about the quality of those hours. If you're sleepy, if you're drowsy, if you're not having your food well, a lot of students do skip breakfast, yes, all of that impacts your learning. So you need to focus on all these micro steps to plan further, right? And yes, if you see here, your IGCSE subject choosing. You know what your interests are and you know what is not your area of strength. So that in itself will help you narrow down to what your interest is. You still have the options of exploring with different subjects. I would suggest talking to your seniors to understand the gist of how it goes. Talk to your teachers. Please communicate with your teachers so that your concerns are addressed. Only if you reach out to us, we'll be able to guide you better, right? And the subjects that you choose right now in your IGCSE years are going to be your foundation for your AS and A-level years, which means this is your base. So you lay your foundation well, that will help you build your career further. Which is why IGCSE, AS and A-level are extremely important for you. For any further queries, you are most welcome to meet me. I'm in the TL room for all the students. At least you would know me. I'm in the corridor in the TL rooms. You can always drop in a mail or get in touch with your form tutor, right? So I think that's it for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Anisha. Now I would like to call our secondary assistant principals who will take you through the requirements of additional subjects and the difference between A star to G and 9 to 1 grading system.
This particular slide is very specific for some of your questions that might be in your minds now. So just listen out carefully. We offer 6 subjects, like Ms. Srija mentioned when she was talking about the subjects we offer. The maximum number of IGCSE subjects we offer is 6, plus the compulsory Ministry of Education subjects. Now, if suppose you have a thought in your mind, or you have already worked out which university your child is going to go, if you need additional subjects, then we have one option, which is a self-study option, in which you can self-study a subject and you can give an examination at WSS, provided if those subjects are already offered in the school. For example, I'll just give one example. If your child is purely following science stream, doing physics, chemistry and biology, and has chosen maybe computer science in one of the optional, but you still think I need 8 IGCSE subjects to go to the country of my destination, then you can choose either accounting or business studies or economics or other options that we have showed, like Arabic first language, food and nutrition, that you can do self-study. Then once we come to know about that, that you are going to choose from the start like that, which we will have a discussion with you one-on-one, then we will give you the opportunity to write that examination at WSS Center, because we offer those subjects. But if you are going outside the box from what we offer and you choose a subject which is not taught in the school, still you can study that subject as your own self-study project, and we will give no objection certificate to you from school to write those examinations in British Council. So it is purely based on what you want, or how many subjects you want to study, or what you want your children to do once they finish schooling in UAE. Maybe you are planning to take them back to your home country, or you are planning to send them to Europe or the Americas, or whichever destination you are planning. Accordingly, we are giving you this option. And regarding the grading system, Ms. Srija will discuss about the 9-to-1 option subjects that we are giving.
So, grading system in IGCSE is available in two forms. Students can get a certificate from in any subject where they would be graded by CIE as an A star to G about their performance, or it can be as 9-to-1. So this is a 9-to-1 grading system is something very recently introduced by Cambridge Board. We have also taken it on board from this year upon the request of parents, because they found that useful in certain countries, in some universities. So what exactly does that mean to the students and teachers? The child can study English and get a grade on the CIE certificate from 9-to-1 or A star to G as per the child's performance in the final exam. The curriculum the child studies is the same. The exam child sits is the same. It would be the same date on the timetable as well. When the student fills in the registration form for Cambridge examination, which will be given to the student when the child reaches year 11, let's say just before the first mock exam in the month of December, you have to fill in the form according to the grading system you need. That is the only difference. So these are the subjects where Cambridge 9-to-1 grading are available currently, and please note that it's likely to change by the time your children reach year 11. This is this year's platform. So the child here, if the child wants a grading of 9-to-1 in the form that the student fills in for CIE examination only, the child has to write the relevant code, which is 0990. And the code for A star to G is different, which the students just read out. And these details will be shared with you at length once again before filling in the registration form. Teachers will be discussing it in the class as well. So what exactly is the difference here? There will be a very minute difference. We can see, you can see that the table at this side, if you can see that, how do the A star to G and 9-to-1 compare? So there's an anchor point. A star and A would be equivalent to 9, 8, or 7. So if you can see, the 9 stands slightly above A star in some universities. They do consider 9 slightly above. Ideally, 9 and 8 would be considered as A star. 7 would be taken as a A when we do our calculations. And the rest of it follows. You can see how it is calculated. The awarding, if you can just pay attention to the second paragraph, the awarding of A star and 9 are worked out in different ways. A star is based on the number of marks students achieve. A percentage of students achieve a set of grades, which is called the threshold, which is released by the CIE every year, and that is what gets the A star. However, grade 9 shows that a student is in top percentage of students that have achieved above grade 7. So, based on the number of students who have achieved grade 7, the topmost percentage would be given grade 9. So ideally, in the world, the number of children who score grade 9 are lesser than the children who score A star. More students get A star when we go by the technical way of marking than the students who score 9. So let's say 9 is a better version of A star if you want to have a difference per se, but there isn't any. Most universities take either of it, and most universities consider both 8 and 9 as very good scores, which is equivalent to A star. But since it is an option available in school, we would want you to know. As I said again, these details will be discussed once again with the students and with you before the examination registration opens up, because the number of subjects where A star to G and 9 to 1 is offered is likely to change by the next academic year. Yeah, so if any questions regarding this comes in, we'll take it up later. Thank you. Thank you, Swati. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Ms. Shrija. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. Now I would request our Vice Principal, Mr. Shujahat Munir, to speak few words on this occasion and guide students and parents in their journey toward IGCSE.
Assalamu alaikum. Afternoon, everyone. I think that was a lot of very good points that were made there, and they're extremely important to take on. Another thing that you should always remember is what is actually important to your child. What will they actually enjoy, right? That is another thing. So yes, we do forward planning, but making somebody do 3 sciences when they're extremely awful at physics, is that going to help their learning? Or is that going to deter them from learning? Right? The students there are laughing. I'm guessing you're not good at physics. I'm only joking, right? I know she is. So these are things that we have to remember. So in Islam, for example, it tells you that you should go out and gain knowledge. So that's very, very important. At the same time, what we need to remember is, what is it that we're working towards? What is our end goal, like Miss Anisha said? What university are we aiming towards? Do our students actually understand the costs that are involved of where they want to end up? So if somebody wants to do medicine and they think that, oh, I'm going to go to the US, do they understand how much money it would have cost them by the end of doing medicine there? What does that open up for them? If you go to UK and you do a degree, can you actually stay there and work for 1 year? Or can you stay there for 2? How does it actually work? So all these things are stuff that your children will be exposed to through our counsellor, through our systems, so that they have a better understanding of where they can go. So I think that's really, really important. So education is the key to success. I'm sure you'll all agree. Okay, and that's the reason why a lot of our students are here. It's our responsibility to guide them through that journey, but it's also your responsibility and the students to drive themselves forward. So I hope you support us with that, and that's just what I want to finish on. So it's a collaboration between the students, us, and the parents as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shujahat. These are few things. We will be sending today's presentation along with our IGCSE options form for your better clarification. And even though we'll be doing it, we have displayed the email addresses of the HODs for your further clarifications. Now the floor is open for parents to visit the heads of subjects seated here to further guide you with the subject. Also, we have Mr. Franklin and Ms. Shrija to answer your queries. Ms. Sharon, the KS4 phase leader, Ms. Deepthi and Ms. Muriel will be answering doubts of parents if there are any online. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It will be helpful for everyone if suppose if a question is lurking.
Or you can discuss it personally as well.
It's very nice to see that our session has almost cleared all your doubts. If you still have anything while you continuously discuss with our HODs, please come back to us. We are here. We will discuss one-on-one based on what you have heard from the HODs about the subject. We'll support you. Yeah.
Yes, we have two girls finally asking questions. Well done, girls.
I have a question that if I choose the subjects that are compulsory, for example, the maths and the other subjects that are compulsory, there are 6 subjects that I must choose. So do the compulsory subjects count, like excluding the Islamic, SST and Arabic? Do mathematics count if I, for example, choose pure science and I choose mathematics and English? There will be one more subjects that I'll choose, for example, computer science. So does that count as 6 subjects, or should I choose like one more, hence there's mathematics is already compulsory?
Thank you for that question. I mean, it's a very clear question and she was paying very good attention. Well done. So mathematics, when I'm saying compulsory subjects, the MOE subjects as in Arabic, Islamic and social studies, UAE social studies, do not count into those 6 subjects. Mathematics does. So mathematics would be subject 1. And then from the next English, you have to choose 1. So that would be subject 2. And from the block, so block B, you have to choose 1. Block C, you have, Sanjalika, if you go back, block C, you have to choose 3. Yeah, so that is mathematics 1, English 2, 3 here, that makes it 5, and then you choose 1 more from here. However, in that final one, you have to give us preference. Which one would you want first, second, or third? Like we said, it's highly likely that we might have to cancel out 1, or you may not qualify for 1, so please give us 3 preferences in your order of your choice.
Okay, so in choosing core and extended, what is the difference between core and extended? Like, do we choose different exam papers, or what is it? Do we give both the exam papers, or what is that? I didn't get that.
Yeah, core and extended.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question again. Core and extended are 2 different options available in the subject. Okay, so when you choose a core, you can choose a core, or you may be asked by the subject teacher. We are not experts in everything. Yeah, so my majors was in sciences, Ms. Swati's was in English, Ms. Deepti's is in physics. So we are not experts in everything, are we? So there might be subjects where you are doing really well, so you take the extended curriculum, and there might be subjects which you do not want to pursue and you can take a core curriculum. Core curriculum is something that's very clearly visible in the CIE website. However, if you write a core paper, it's in the end of the academic year, in year 11, the best grade available in a core paper is C. So it will be only C and below. For extended paper, the grading starts from A star. But WSS teaches everyone extended curriculum. So let's say somewhere by the last mock exam that you would take, we would come to know that some children are highly stressed and they would rather perform better with core curriculum, which is easier, simpler, a few complex topics are avoided, and they stand better chances of scoring a good grade. Hence, it is a one-to-one sit-down talk with your parents and you to take the decision. Every single child and parent is met with the teacher and head of department before that decision is taken. And if you go to the website, which the teachers will be sending across today, you would really clearly see what is a core curriculum and what is extended. There's one more thing I would want to add here, that at WSS, if you choose a core curriculum at any point, that is not considered as a qualification which will take you into a AS lesson. So for studying 6th form, The entry requirement is you do an extended curriculum and score somewhere between A star to C. Okay?
Just to add one more point to what Ms. just said, I think you all remember the equivalency we discussed earlier. So in the equivalency criteria, the children should score in IGCSE A star to E. Sometimes when the students struggle a lot in an extended curriculum, we give that as an option to them if we see that their progress that they are making is not taking them to that equalization requirement. We do suggest the core curriculum so that the equalization would be done without any hassle. Or else if the grades are falling below F, then it's going to be very difficult to equalize the certificate, or it would become an additional work for the student to sit for the same examination once again later in the academic year to improve the scores. So this is one of the flexibilities the British curriculum offers, and we are giving it to the students. Like Mr. just said very clearly, extended is what we offer to all students, and if you are going to take them for further studies at WSS for their ASA level, we don't consider core as the competent level that the students should possess to continue the studies. Thank you.
I have a question. Which is the pass level to get the certificate of education? Like example, if for all the science, if I get above C, and maybe for maths I get A star, do I still am able to get it? Like the certificate? Like how do you calculate it? Is it depending if I do core or extended? Or depending on my college?
If I clarify your question, you will get the certificate anyways from the Cambridge, whatever is your grade. Now there are two things we're talking about. One is whether you'd be promoted as in whether you qualify for AS level, which is year 12. For that, you have to be studying an extended curriculum and score somewhere between A star to C. So that's the eligibility criteria for you to enter into grade 12, which is advanced level. Now there is another point which Mr. Franklin discussed, which is equivalency, which is something done by the government authority, which when you apply for an equivalency, when you have to score between A star to E in 5 subjects. So for example, you score A star in a subject, B in 2, and let's say one subject you score a E, you will still be eligible for equivalency, and you might qualify for going into the AS and A level with the A star B subjects where you have got those high grades. If you get grades D and below, you would not qualify into the 6th form, which is advanced level or A levels.
Okay, but that's for grade 12, you only do 4 mandatory subjects, right? So if for the 4 important one in my career, I get all A stars, but then the like not compulsory, but the ones that not important in my career, I get bad one, can I still pass to do AS level?
You have to get 5 subjects between A star to E, 5 subjects. And if you are choosing 2 particular subjects which is important for your career and you've got A star, yes, you will qualify to study in 6th form.
If I choose medicals as my career for future, what's the maximum grade that I need to get in science to actually, get into it, or the passing marks or
Yeah, it's a really very good question. Thank you so much. Because many children quite often come and speak to us about becoming a doctor. There are many levels to it. So the first level is IGCSE. The second level is your A level. And then the university that you are planning to continue your medical studies would have a criteria to take you in as their student, right? So for now, let's focus on IGCSE. When you finish your IGCSE, if you want to go into medical sciences, naturally you will focus on your science subject. And in those science subjects, if you are not getting anywhere between A star to C, you will not get an opportunity to continue your advanced level studies at WSS. So that is your first goal, Once you do that, then you go into advanced level. Then you will look at your university. What are they asking you to get in your A-level studies? Yeah. So then you will work out towards that. Yeah. Thank you.
So for medicine, which is requirements are different in different country. You saw Miss Anisha. She would be able to guide you about which country requires. Some countries require mathematics. Some countries don't. Some countries have an entrance exams. Some countries don't. So that is something that you're going to research on your own. We will not guide you because you're a big girl now, and find out what is the requirement. What we can tell you is that how to go till year 13. Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. I would like to ask if a child can reappear for an exam for a specific subject to improve his grade. Let's say in year 10, he appears for IGCSE maths exam.
Year 10, IGCSE examinations are offered only at the end of the course, that is in year 11. They usually sit in May-June exam series. If you are thinking that your child has not scored enough, they can reapply for another series. It is called October-November series to increase the grades. So that is possible. But with end of year 11, after what happens is the private study, because we are not going to keep the child in year 11 to make it better for one subject or two subjects. So they will be passing out of year 11. Yeah.
So in short, a child cannot appear for an exam in year 10. That's what it means.
Year 10, no, we are not recommending that, because year 10 is the start of their IGCSE course. At that point of time, taking a full curriculum examination is not very advisable.
The reason I asked this question is because I did my IGCSE here in UAE, and we were offered this option that appear for the exam at year 10.
That's a good thought. Now, if the child writes an exam in year 10, it's highly unlikely that the child will score competently because it's a 2-year course. However, if you feel that the student is ready, you can put in a special request to the examination team, and we can expose the child to an exam along with others. You're just paying the examination fee 2 times. If that is bearable for you, just to get to know where the child is, it is something that we have considered earlier upon parents' request. We are not offering it to everyone, but there are some parents who requested it, and the children have sat down. It would, let's say, as a practice session to see where the child stands. Yeah, that's totally your choice. But we recommend that the child does it at the end of year 11 when the course is complete.
Thank you.
Good evening. I have a doubt for Block D.
Go on.
If our selected subject for Block D is cancelled, are we able to choose another subject despite the time that we have left?
You will have to, when you're submitting the options document, give us 3 choice of subjects in the order of preference. And it's highly unlikely that all 3 might get cancelled. So generally we have had 1 or 2 of them getting cancelled. We never had 3 of them cancelled. And even if it so happens, we will write out individually to all of you asking for the next option. So that wouldn't be an issue.
All right, thank you.
I just want to ask if business is in Block D. Business.
Business does not feature in Block D this year. Business features in Block C.
If there are no further questions, you can meet the subject leaders. They are eagerly waiting for you. So then, yeah, we'll come to you. So then you can have a clear discussion about the subject and the possibilities. Thank you.